Okay, I'm here. I'm still dinking with my settings. Gotta turn this. Okay, turn that down just a skosh. Turn it down on my end a little bit more. Okay. Trouble boy. Yeah, it's me. I'm here. Don't you just hate it when you start your washing machine and then, you know, you go and do some stuff and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go start a thing, and then immediately your washing is done and you have to take care of it before it mildews? That's a pain, ain't it? Ugh. Oh boy. Anyways, but we're here though. And I have some exciting updates to share in the art department today. So last time I streamed my original character stuff. I need my drawing glove. I think it was Chris here, Universal Prime, and Dusty off stream because of the strike and all that stuff. I worked on this without really showing any of it off. So I finished it pretty much. All the basic sketches for the characters are done now. I finished Ryerda. I got Tenchi done here. I really like how these two turned out. And I really like how Flash turned out. Like my first time in a long time, like really actually trying to draw a quadruped. Yeah, quadruped, K9. 12 o'clock. First time drawing like a feral animal. And personally, turned out really well. I had to annoy my friend of the show, friend of the pod, has been. I DM'd her at like 6 a.m. her time, being like, "Hey, does this look okay? I don't know if this looks okay." And she said it looked fine. So I went and did some my own personal changes to it, and I really like how he turned out. I'll be adding some more details to him, but yeah, I really like how he turned out. Might change the tail a little bit. I think it might be a little too wide. But anyways, I really like how he turned out, and it's a good reference pose. At least for what I want to try to achieve. I actually have a decent reference for him. That I got commissioned from an artist way back in the day. That I still refer to. It's still a good reference, but I wanted to draw him myself and get like my own style put on him, so that way I know how I would approach the character on repeat visits. Hey, it's a damn good animal. Yeah. Flash is it's a good drawing, good wolf doggo, and is a certified good boy. We like Flash in this house. Ryerda was kind of a pain to deal with. I finally settled on a face shape that I really like for her. I had a real bear of a time trying to get her proportions figured out and her outfit squared away. It was so annoying. Which is why I don't draw her super often, because her whole design just does not... There's just something about it that makes it really hard for me to actually just draw in general. And I think it's either like the really long shirt, or it's like the leather armor up here on her chest. There's just something about it, man. I just cannot... Every time I draw, it never looks right. But I got her done, and this is a second pass on her, actually, because the first one she was a little too thin for my liking. I wanted to make her a little bit wider, a bit more broader. So you can sort of tell here by the lines from her, like the pelvis area, that I basically drew a selection line I weaved it in between some of the lines, and I just pulled her apart. I'm using my hands, but you can't can't see that obviously, but I like pulled her apart basically, and then I just filled the lines back in, make her a little wider. And I like how Tenchi turned out. He doesn't have his panda markings in, but I really like how he ended up turning out. And I think the new proportions that I draw most of my characters in really benefits him a lot. And I got another chance to draw his arms again, because I wanted him to have sort of those, like, I wanted his arms to sort of like start at a point and then like start narrow and then go wide when you get to the hand, and be more like Dusty in the fact that his anatomy is kind of, it's fudged a little bit. It's, you know, not completely realistic, but you know, it's kind of meant to be like a little cartoony. I don't know if I should make his arms shorter though. I might do that. I don't know. I'm looking at it now and I think his arms are too long. I'm never satisfied. Yeah, that'll be something I'll do later. Because this time, today, you can see here by my layers, we've got Sparks and Sid. So I started this project to get characters sized up correctly and all proportioned out and everything. And this is Group A. Group A is like the main Universe Travelers gang. This would be the main core cast of characters for the Universe Travelers comic, the first one. Yeah, because there's more than one, if you can believe it. And I wanted these ones drawn out because each one of these characters is like the main character of their own, like, side story type of deal. Think of it like the Iron Man and like the like the Thor and the Captain America or whatever, and then it's like, you know, they're in the Avengers films together. It's kind of like that. So I wanted to get like the main character sketched out and be like, okay, if I'm going to draw all their supporting characters for their own series, we'll get them drawn out first, and then I'll do like a save as, and then just have multiple versions of this one file that have different characters in it, so that way it doesn't get too big. Because I already had to change the canvas size. I had to widen it and then move it vertically so I could fit some of the characters, because some of the other characters are really big. And my computer was already like, because the original file also had a lot of layers in it, so it kind of gave it a bit of a heart attack. Group B here though, I merged the layers together on Group A and basically removed some layers and picked out all the fluff, so that way it's a bit more lean and it won't give my computer a stroke whenever it tries to load the file. Much like the headshot file that I've kind of showed off in the past, which is where this like one headshot of Flash came from. And I didn't redraw Flash's head because I really like how I drew his head. I was like, I don't feel like changing it, so I implemented it in the drawing. So yeah, so the next we're going to do Sparks next. So we're gonna drop the background, our Group A to 60. I'm gonna open up Sparks' folder here. We're gonna get started. We're gonna see how well I do. And I forgot to do something else. Gosh darn it. I have to get up. I'm not going too far. I have to reach for my backpack. Go into my backpack and I gotta pull out my notebook. Oh, I've been hit by again. Yep. Yep. here I go. Hi again, hi again. Yep. Getting up and sitting down, it's going to be a thing today, I guess. Because I bought a like 97-cent line notebook at work. Because I work at a grocery store. Gotta pay the bills somehow. I wish Wandering the Multiverse paid the bills. Make my life a lot easier. I bought a 97-cent line notebook just to write notes in, and then I started drawing in it, and I didn't stop. So this notebook starts with like some handwritten notes for story ideas and all that, and then it just devolves into ballpoint pen drawings and sketches and stuff. So it looks like a May's notebook from Night in the Woods, if you're familiar with that. And in this notebook that I'm looking at currently right now, I have some sketches of Sparks that I really like. And I want to see if I can at least try and capture those drawings on here in this project, because I like how they turned out, and I think that is how I'd like to represent the character. I really need to actually get in the habit of like taking pictures of the drawings I made in this notebook, because I made some certified bangers in this notebook that I think I want to just post. I keep saying, like, people will get a kick out of this. Not a whole lot of people see my work. Let's be real here. And that's kind of what started the whole kick of my little bailing on Twitter thought process yesterday. But we can get into that later. But I really need to like take pictures of some of these, because I'm really proud of them, and I want to put them somewhere. But on the off chance if somebody might see them, they'll get a chance to see them. Because I've got the meme, that Steven Universe meme that went around lately, or earlier this year. Was it earlier this year or last year? I can't remember. The one where it's like Steven's confronting Hitler, and Garnet's like, I think we actually have to kill this guy, Steven. And Steven's like, damn. And people were like drawing their characters in that meme. I drew a couple of my characters. It was Universe Traveler Prime and Sparks. I did my own version, and I really like how it turned out. The characters are actually facing to the right, which I never really do. I actually did like a pose I never usually do, which, bar is pretty low there. I am always drawing my characters 3/4 facing to the left, so not like that's a high bar to clear or anything like that. The drawing of the AI girl that I really liked. Her shoes are really have a nice shape to them. And a new OC that she's not technically new, but I've had her kicking around in my head for a while. And I drew like a torso, like a waist high drawing of her that I'd really like to share, because I think she's kind of neat. So maybe today will be the day where I actually get pictures of those and post them on my Insta. And I don't know, maybe my Twitter too. Anyways. Oh yeah, and the other thing with the Sparks drawing, the reason why I wanted to get it in the first place, not only for the fact that I think I drew him really well, it's also the only drawing I have where I actually drew somebody next to Sparks to like sort of get how tall he is, because I always envisioned him to be like as tall as Universe Traveler Prime, because they're both like variants of each other. But in this drawing, I drew Sparks shorter than Prime, and I kind of liked it like that. Like, I kind of like him being a little shorter than him. So I think that's kind of what I'll stick with, is keeping Sparks short. Alright. But it's enough talk. Have at ye. This So we're gonna start with the head. It's a very good place to start. We're seeing all of them as I've seen your work, and it makes me glad that there are people out there that like seeing my work. Because again, thinking about because I was thinking about Twitter, and because I think the thing that got me started on this, the whole Twitter kick, or yeah, the whole jumping ship from Twitter, kind of started with my thought process. I was thinking about my reach, in terms of like as an artist or whatever, and kind of retreading old ground of being like, okay, if I post this work to the internet, I post it to the internet, why? It's like, why do I choose to do that when it's like, I'm not obligated to, but I choose to anyway. That's the wrong layer. There we go. And it sort of got me thinking, it's like, why am I attached to like Twitter and stuff if my reach isn't, if I don't have a wide enough reach? And also if it's like I'm like playing to an audience that's not even like there. And just thinking about what I gain from trying to play to like a crowd, because I mentioned this before in I think it was like the last Redraw stream, or like one of the previous ones, where I was like, I like streaming a lot because it's not really a group, it's yeah, that's about right. Let's see. Side tangent here. I really like drawing on line paper because I can actually see how big my drawings are. I can actually compare sizes to other things. So it's like his head is like 4 lines tall, and his is like 3. So it's not. So I didn't draw it as big. But considering the fact that I kind of drew his chin big, I need to. His head would be about there. Man, really makes me realize how big Dusty's head is. Good grief. Oh no, I side tangented now. I forgot what I was talking about. Where I was talking about, I don't know, something. Yeah, chat being like a singular entity. It's very one-on-one, kind of personal, and it's unlike being in a voice chat in like Discord or something like that with a bunch of people, where I kind of feel, I don't want to say left out, but I feel. I guess left out would be, I don't know, because it's not like intentional or anything, but it's like whenever I'm in a group, it's like it always, I always feel like I want to be on the outside, because it's like everybody like sort of forms like the group within the group, and then people are talking to each other and all that stuff, and then it's like I don't really know where to chime in and all that. But being on stream, for one, it's like one-on-one, and 2, there's no crosstalk, so it's not like chat's going to talk over me because I'm the only one with the mic, which is kind of conceited when, if you say it that way. But I mean, it's when you're streaming, it's like you're the streamer, you're kind of, people are there to hear you. So it's like naturally, people are going to want you to talk. So, it's nice to be heard. And then it's like, well, when you're on social media, it's like you're always trying to get the attention of everybody, and it's like, well, I'm only trying to play to one crowd, or try to play to like even one person, not even a crowd. So I'm like, is that something I want? It's for the best. Twitch doesn't have audience mics. My God. Oh, that would be a fucking mess. Because I've always compared Twitch to, or like any live streaming service, like being in a convention center, and every Twitch streamer is a person with their own auditorium, right? And for some, a Twitch streamer's auditorium could be like a small convention hall room that like seats 50 people, right? And those are very intimate, very personal. They're meant to be like smaller conference rooms. You know, they're meant for like smaller panels that you go to that are like off to the side. And others have like the main stage where there's like 1,000 people there. And if you think about it like that, the vibe of a small panel room versus a concert hall they're very different from each other. So when you go into the concert hall, you're kind of expected to just kind of sit in the audience and just watch and not really participate in the sense that you want to like interact with people, you know? Because there's a lot of people there's a lot of noise being chatters, and you know, it's like, you know, that's cool, and see, and it all boils down to taste too, where it's like you can totally vibe out with going to a concert, something like that, and have a great time. But that personally isn't what I like to get out of my Twitch streams. I always like the small stream vibes where it's like, yeah, you're hanging out with people in like a small group of people, and you're just there having a chill time, and you're there to have fun and just talk. I forgot like the point I was actually going for with this. But it's basically the whole thing of like, it's like, I'm not going to attract a large crowd, so it's like, why do I need to set myself up like I'm going to? Like, why do I feel the need to set myself up like a concert when in reality I'm just the panel, or like the conference room? I kind of like the panel room better. I like panels. Panels are fun. When I used to go to conventions, I'd go to panels all the time. I loved going to panels. I went for my Universe Traveler conference over any concert. Yeah, and see, and that's kind of my thing too. Because again, the whole thing I like about Twitch is the fact that you can interact with a person who's actually performing, you know, quote unquote. But when it gets so big that you can't like actually interact with them in a feasible way, then it's like, I don't know, it kind of defeats the purpose in my eyes. At that point, if I want to watch that, I'll watch the performance in a VOD where I can pause it at my own discretion and watch it at my own pace. Because that's just my preference. But I was thinking about locking down my Twitter and stuff, and just being like, you know what, whoever's followed me out at this point, love to have you. show's kind of over now. I've had my fill. It's been a good run. Bye. And not I wouldn't. And of course, I say that like I'm like leaving the internet or anything. It's like I wouldn't leave the internet. And even then, I'd still probably browse Twitter, but I wouldn't like. I wouldn't post anything to like try and get reach on there. It would just act as like a depository or repository. Which is I don't know which one it is, but it would basically just a place where I dump drawings and sketches, like I do with Instagram, where it's like I dump sketches and stuff that I finish. And even then, I'm like, I'm kind of thinking about. It's so funny. I joined Instagram initially because my family used it a lot, and they desperately wanted me on a social platform that they used, so that way we'd keep in touch. Spoiler alert: we kind of don't anyway. So and when it comes to like, because the one thing I hate about posting on Instagram, and this shit bothers me, and a lot of websites do this, and by a lot I mean most of them or all of them, I hate trying to remember hashtags and stuff for tagging art. Tumblr does it, Instagram does it, Otaku does it, DeviantArt does it. It's like so many of these websites use tags for stuff, so that way you can search for art. But I hate filling out tags. It is such an annoying part of the process, and I hate having to do it. And there's a program that people use. Friend of the show, friend of the pod, has been. She uses Postyburb, which is the name of the program, and it's basically a tool that you can use to mass post art to websites, and it has a lot of utility with a lot of websites. It's compatible with like Otaku, DeviantArt, Twitter. What are some other ones? Pixiv, I think, is another one that it uses. Tumblr, I think it's also compatible with Tumblr as well. And it's like I could really get down with something like that, because I think it also memorizes tags that you use for your art, for your pieces, and that to me is like a godsend. It's like, oh please, let me not have to ever enter in tags ever again. But like the one website it's not compatible with that I use frequently is freaking Instagram. And it's like, well, frick. So it's like, well, now what do I do? It's like I'm doomed to freaking enter tags manually on Instagram for the rest of my days. His eyes, he's a little bit taller than this. And I'm drawing this on the... God... Fuck! Oh. God damn it. Okay, well, time to undo everything I freaking worked on. Bye. Okay, at least get it... Yeah, if we can get it free of this, then I can just do this. I'm just gonna do that. This. Okay. There we go. We're safe. Good lord. You know you're a digital artist if you've drawn on the wrong layer more than once. Ugh. Oh boy. Anyway. I'm just a little burnt out on playing the social media game. and I think it's kind of time to start putting like affirmative action towards like just not bothering to play it. Because one thing I did do recently that was a bit harder to, it was a bit of a harder pill to swallow, but it was like kind of necessary, was I took all of the game dev software that I've bought, and I just uninstalled all of it and I deleted all my assets, because even though game dev is like a big part of like, it's like a big goal of mine, I'd love to like make games and stuff like that. When it comes to like the necessary skills and requirements to actually make that kind of stuff, I just don't have the time to grind to learn it all. Especially when it's like I have other projects I want to do, like the comic and writing and all that other stuff. It's like if I feel like the most feasible way for me to actually get into game dev now would be is like if I actually pitched my stuff to a studio and be like, please sir, could you get smart people to help me make this? So that's kind of just where I'm at in that department. And there's nothing stopping me from just making mock-ups and fun little what ifs. And to me that's, and I thought about it and I'm like, you know what, I'm kind of cool with that. I'm fine with just making like little video game mock-ups and stuff, because I made like a fake screenshot for like a little RPG for like the Siblings of Destiny stuff, and I really like how that turned out. So it's like I feel like I could just do that and I could be pretty content with it. And now that I'm not drawing on the wrong layer, we can actually get going on this. And Sparks is kind of like Dusty-esque in that he borrows a lot from the Sonic character's design philosophy, so he's kind of like a hybrid of the two. So instead of getting like Superman undies, I'm gonna try and do it like this way instead. I'm gonna see what results I get. If I like what I see, then I'll just stick with this, but if not, then I'll slap on the pelvis, slap on them undies, and do that. But I don't think I'll need to. I personally don't use tags. I'm not trying to reach out for an audience. I just like sharing with the few who I found my little zone, which is more than I expected, honestly. Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at. But I keep doing the song and dance like I want more reach, and it's like, bro, you've kind of established that you don't want that, so you should probably just stop trying. Not even in like a dude, stop trying, quit while you're ahead, just, you know, it's not gonna happen. It's like, you're doing this thing that's required of something you don't even want. And so it's like, why are you bothering to do it anyways? It's like, save yourself the headache. So it's like, you know what, I should. It's like, I should just stop. Yeah, I should just stop worrying about that and just do. Because I think that's like the big stumbling block for me, is it's like I keep worrying about like the whole, I need to make sure that it looks nice, or that it's a problem that I've grappled with for a long time. It's like, my portfolio. It's like, dude, you're not making a portfolio, shut up. Just fucking draw to be happy. Good grief. Yeah, it's just something that I've wrestled with for a while, and it's like, bruh, relax. Just do this to have fun. But it's also really good that you managed to, you know, that even though you didn't play, like, you're not playing like the social media game, you still managed to like garner like a following of like some dedicated followers that like your stuff. I think that's nice. it's comforting to know that people still find your work even when you don't like play silly games. Yeah, and I think I just need to apply myself. Let's put this down here. I'm slowing down. This isn't good, man. I'm entering uncharted territory. It's like I'm unsure about what I want to do now, but I have to press forward. I must continue onward. Because I've gotten used to drawing Sparks' head and his face, and I really like how I handle that. But it's like I haven't drawn him with like his full body in a long time. Like the closest I've gotten is with this meme that I drew, which is just his torso, which in and of itself is a very simple shape. But it's like when it comes to the rest of him, it's like, well, what does that look like? What could I want from this? I ask. Not much, I reply. I'm gonna readjust this line for his leg. But on the subject of game dev, though, I still need to sit down and do. I really want to sit down and do that stream of like game ideas that I had, because I think that'd be a really fun thing to talk about. Because I had to do a cleanup for my place, because the property manager was going to come through and do an inspection, and they never showed up. So I did a 90-mile-an-hour fluffing stuff flat of the Bumblebee cleanup, and I scooped up all my video game ideas because I keep it all in a folder, and I had it laying out because I was looking through it at some point, and I really need to like reorganize that and then like actually compile it into a document or something like that. And it'd be fun to like do like what I do for Siblings of Destiny and make mock-ups for it or something like that. I think it'd be really cool. Look good to me so far, even if it's pretty early stage. I'm glad. Because sometimes when I draw some of this stuff, it's like, oh, even at like a stage such as this, I can sort of tell it's like, nah, I'm not really feeling the sauce, feeling the magic. It's not really feeling right, but so far it hasn't lost me yet. But much like Flash, I'm going into uncharted territory with Sparks in particular. So it's like I'm going to be kind of learning quote unquote as I go here in how I want to approach him. I just don't like how this other leg is. Something about it's bothering me. It is bugging me something fierce. And I think it's because of the way it tapers off of his back here. Because when I look at this old one, everything like up here is like, I'm like okay with it. There's like a few things that I've changed with Sparks' design. Is I shrank his ears, his head's a little bigger, and his mohawk has kind of shrunk a little bit. And I changed the shape of his hair a little bit. But I kind of want to change the way I draw his pants though, and the way that his legs kind of go from wide to narrow. I don't know, that part kind of bothers me. I think I like having him with wide legs though, with wider legs. Also, his feet aren't as big. Although that is something I am changing on purpose though, is his feet aren't going to be that big. I'm also changing, compared to this one, his shoes are going to be different too. Because I think I remember seeing somewhere, I cannot remember exactly where I saw this. You know what, I'm just not going to bother. I'm just going to do this. There we go. I can't remember where I saw this originally, but I've seen it done a few times on other places. Like, I don't know where I saw it originally, but I've seen it done a few times. Where somebody will take an anthropomorphic character, and they'll draw them wearing tennis shoes, but they take the front of the shoe, and they just cut it off, and they have the grippers, the toes out, or the little beans hanging out. And there's something about that shoe design I absolutely love. So when I drew Sparks originally, I gave him the shoes that he has in the Sonic design, and I was thinking, that doesn't really fit him as well as I thought it would. And I was like, I should let his paws put his little toe beans out. And then I saw someone use that in a drawing that I saw on Otaku. And I was like, oh, brilliant. Yeah, look at that. I really like that. And there's another picture that I drew on a piece of paper that I should take a picture of, where it was going to be a drawing of Sparks sitting up against a wall, and he was going to be kind of doing this pose where he's really tired, but he's looking down. His face is pointed down at the floor, but he's looking up at you, at the viewer, and he was going to be covered in blood or something like that, and there's going to be bodies everywhere. And I never finished it, but I sketched the pose that I was going to use, and I really like how the shoes turned out in that drawing, and just the pose in general. The pose in general is really good, but I really like how I drew the shoes, because it's one of the few times where I drew something as I pictured it in my mind and went, there it is, that's what I want. But I also, but the thing with Sparks is he's kind of meant to be among the variants of the Universe Traveler. He's kind of meant to be the more scrappy of the variants, and I don't mean the scrappy. He's meant to be just scrappy. He likes fighting a lot, and I wouldn't say he's unhinged violent, but he's more prone to being well, I know how to solve this problem, blows a guy away, and it's Sparks, no, that kills people. But it sort of ties into his backstory as a hero, and sort of how he gets his powers, and he's very much different from Sonic Sparks. Sonic Sparks he's kind of more meant to be more like the Sonic archetype where he's kind of like I wouldn't say a plucky, he's like really plucky, but he's kind of meant to be like, oh, he's really cool, and he's more chill than anything, and he just kind of travels around and does his own thing, along with his friends. So the two of them are pretty different from each other in that regard. And that kind of behavior kind of puts him at odds with Universe Traveler Prime. Because unlike most of his variants, because Prime, the thing with Prime is he kind of gets along with most of his variants that he meets. The like one exception is like kind of the obvious one where it's like, oh, you're like the anti version of me. Oh no, and he's like, I have to defeat you, anti version of me, because you're like the bad version of me, and it's whatever, kind of like that. But the rest of them that he meets are like, oh, you're pretty chill. It's like, oh, we kind of deal with the same thing. We go through a lot, and life is hard, but we have to persevere, because it's like that's kind of what we want for each other. It's like we're like a spin on the same person, so it's like, oh, we kind of want the best for each other. We understand what we're going through. It's life is hard, and we'll be there for each other. But Sparks is kind of there, like, yeah, I know what I'm about. I know what I'm about. I know what I want. It's like, I'm cool with all of you, but I kind of disagree with what it is with the way you handle things. So that it kind of puts the two of them at odds. Yeah, Anti-Traveler is nothing compared to the awesome and amazing Reality Traverser. Oh yeah, nothing can compare to them. There's going to be like a 7-part arc that spans several runs, all to just take them down. But yeah, and that's kind of Sparks' whole deal. But the one thing that Prime and Sparks get along, that they agree on, is they agree that Kita is the best, because they both have their own Kita, which is the otter character, because they both are in a relationship with their own Kita, so they're both like they both sim for their girlfriends, and since their girlfriends are kind of variants of each other, they're both like, we both agree that she's the best, right? And they're like, yeah, we agree, she's the best. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take there we go. Okay. There we go. Nice. There we go. That kind of looks a little bit better. It's kind of what I'm aiming for. Yeah, I like it. All right. Would it be weird finding out that another version of you is an anthro animal? Not really. For me personally, I wouldn't see it as that weird, because I mean, if you think about the realm of possibilities at large, and that there's infinite possibilities. If there was like if somebody was like, hey, there's like another world where you're like where you're like a rock, or you're a tree, or you're a raccoon that eats garbage. It's like, no, that tracks. Because I mean, you say it's because it's like infinite possibility. There's a chance that somewhere that happened. I would be more surprised if it's like, if this is universe 1, your like raccoon self is like universe 2. It's like, that would be the surprising thing to me, that the fact that they're like so close to each other. But if they were like, oh, the universe where you're a turtle is like universe 375,621,911, I'd be like, yeah, okay, no, that tracks. It's like, because it takes you go through a lot of iterations to get from me to there. So it's like, okay, no, that makes sense. But within the context of the story, at this point when the two of them meet, it's like, Prime's already kind of like, he's well versed in the fact that the multiverse is like this giant, near endless realm of possibilities where almost anything can happen. The rules are kind of established. So him meeting another version of him is like, that's very different. It's not too surprising. The thing though that kind of bugs him though is it's like, oh, I meet another version of me that's like this, or no, I meet a universal variant of myself, but it turns out that he's actually kind of a jerk and I don't like him. I think that's the part that would disappoint him the most. He's just like, oh great, I get to meet another version of myself that isn't technically me, and it turns out that he's a jerk. It's like, frick. But that's kind of that's just how I look at it. When does Tur Traveler join the team? The fans want it. Well, you see, the thing is, though, he doesn't actually join the team. He does score a cameo in one of the panels of the comic, and because the design was so standout, the fans latched onto it, and he ended up developing a cult following, which eventually ended up earning him a spotlight in a spin-off TV show that only lasted 1 season. Yeah. That's how it goes. That's kind of how it goes. The great always die young. Ironic for a turtle. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure the lifespan of a turtle is pretty long, if I remember right. I know, like, Galapagos tortoises live for, like, forever. The average lifespan of a turtle, though, that's kind of lost on me. Hang on. We can actually find this out. We have the internet. Average life and a turtle. A turtle's lifespan depends on the species, but most aquatic species live into their 40s. Smaller species live only about a quarter of a century, and terrestrial box turtles typically live to 40 or 50 years, but can live to be 100. Damn. I've learned a lot today. Click back. Gotta click my clip again. Actually, get to my drawing program. Okay. The next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna draw his arms next. The great thing about Sparks is he's kind of got the same thing going as Tenchi and Dusty's. His arms don't really have like human anatomy rules applied to them, so they're a little bit more loosey-goosey with the rules. I don't think I want to give him like Popeye arms. was trying to remember the character's name from Street Fighter 6. The new character, the dude who's got like those really buff, what is it, like forearms, and they're like freaking massive. I can't remember that character's name because he's relatively new. I forget if he's like the son of Guile or not. I think he's like his own character. But I find his design pretty funny. It's good. It's good and funny. He's a great character. But he is going to have big hands though. Because the one thing that, and this sort of ties into OC Sparks and sort of his like general design and all that stuff, is he's not only is he more scrappy and he likes fighting guys and all that stuff. He's also more prone to doing like feral stuff. In my head, whenever I picture him like parkouring around buildings and stuff, because his home world is sort of set in like I don't want to say a post-apocalypse, but it's sort of set in like a very dingy city type of setting. Like not Blade Runner type of city, but like a New York kind of like, but if New York kind of lost all of its like lost its budget for like general upkeep, you know what I mean? So whenever I picture him like running around that city, he's doing all sorts of like parkour stuff and all that, but he'll be running on like all twos doing like a Naruto Sonic run, and then he'll like vault over a transformer or something like that, and then he'll start running on all fours, and then he'll do like a werehog type of running leap, and then he'll like catch the side of a building and then just scramble up at the side of a building like, I don't know, like a monkey or something like that. Because the great thing about Sparks that I kind of wanted to lean into, since he's not like a variant of Prime, I kind of wanted to do fun stuff with his quote unquote moveset, like his abilities and all that. And so kind of turning him into like this like scrappy brawler type, that he fights dirty, and he does all these like, he has like, he's like also prone to like biting people too. But because he's like more prone to fighting feral and all that stuff, he can kind of go a bit more crazier in combat, which kind of meshes well. So I don't know, I kind of want to explore that a little bit more, because his moveset also changes. His moveset is different from a Universe Traveler as well, or like one of his variants. Because the way that I have it pictured is Sparks ends up becoming kind of a mashup between Dusty and Prime, where he gets the electricity powers, but he's also able to stretch his limbs. Mainly, and while being a Universe Traveler variant on like the universe side of variant, his world kind of wasn't going to get the wasn't like going to get its own like, oh, you're doing your own Master Shadow thing and all these other arcs that he goes through. It's like he was going to be on his own doing his own thing, but because of some, you know, wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff, he accidentally kind of gets tied into that sort of thing, and he gets like a little connecting thread put into it on accident, and he kind of gets pulled into the main arc of everything that way, where it's like somebody experiments with like, you know, like the threads of time and space and all that, and he kind of gets involved, and he accidentally sort of like becomes aware of like the greater multiverse, and then it's like, I had to stop these people from messing with with time and space and all that. And you know, and he does his thing, and that's kind of like the crux of his journey, until eventually he, like, you know, once he finishes his journey, then he like meets the main cast, and he kind of becomes like a main character. At least it's kind of how I have it planned in my head. Who knows what happens if I ever get to that point, because I have a lot of material saved up in my brain and only so much time in my life, so I just don't know how far I'll actually get within my lifetime when it comes to writing and all that stuff. Messing up this. Can't draw these freaking lips. Keep goofing this freaking hand. There we go. His other arm doing this, because he's got to be holding out his hand doing the please give me some money kind of hand, so we can see the palms. These are just general reference pictures after all. Oh yeah, and the other thing though with Sparks is he's got the electricity and the stretchy arms and all that stuff. He's got like raccoon sense too, where his senses are a bit heightened because he's an aminal. He also has retractable claws, so that way he like does the thing that like Miguel O'Hara does in Across the Spider-Verse, where, you know, you do that really cool thing where you jut your hands out and it goes ka-chink, and there's like his claws are out. He does like that too, but he can like channel electricity through it, so that way it does that cool thing like in Unleashed where he'll swing his hand and his claws leave light trails in the air. I think that's really cool. I've always I love that about Unleashed, and it's like, I want my characters to do that too. Honestly, you always come up with the coolest story and character ideas. I try. I try, because even though a lot of this stuff comes from like other things I'm inspired by, I always want to put my own spin on it and try to be like, you know, wouldn't it be cool if this was a thing, you know, and just go from there. But I'm also really glad that people find that, you know, people will find it cool. Not everybody sees it that way, but, you know, I'm glad, you know, people will at least look at it and go, hey, that's actually kind of neat. Because sometimes when I talk to people, and this also sort of ties into like my thoughts about, you know, getting up and walking away, is it gets, and I think I've talked about this too a lot, where it's like it gets kind of disheartening when it's like you share your ideas, but you're met with like crickets. So then it's like, I'm just gonna pack up my stuff and go home. It's kind of like that too, where it's like, okay, well, I mean, you know what? If if I'm not doing it for somebody else, then I'll do it for me. Because at the very least, I love talking about my ideas. Because it's like if I'm not gonna get them out there, I at least want them to be known and heard and all that. Because I do have, and I say so myself, completely unbiased. I'm biased for myself. I've got some certified bangers rattling around in my gray matter that I'd love to get out there one day. And even if nobody likes them, it's like, well, see, the thing is, and I think I mentioned this before, but it's like the Universe Traveler stuff and almost everything attached to it is like strictly made for me. It is 100% a self-indulgent project, and the fact that nobody like that when I tell people about it, they're like, oh yeah, okay. It's like, no, there's a part of me that leaves with a little disappointment, but also a part of me that's just like shrugs that's like, it's a shrug of the shoulders and go, yeah, that tracks, because this is something that I straight up just made for myself. And also maybe the fact that I don't present my ideas in a very cohesive or fun way. Because I tend to trip over my words a lot. I'm not very clear and concise with my ideas. And then that's okay. It's all right. It's like, I don't have to be, this isn't like the freaking King's Speech or anything like that. It's like, that's okay. And maybe one day I'll find the way to like actually speak coherently. I'll discover it somehow. And this is also kind of related to it, but you know, I do get a little leery talking about like when it's like, oh, my stuff doesn't get as much attention as other people's stuff. I always get really leery because it's like, I never want me talking about like that in particular to come across as me tearing somebody else down in order to build myself up. Because I always abide by the belief that nothing ever good comes from tearing down artists or people that just create for fun. It's like nothing good ever comes from tearing people down like that. It's like you always want to try and build people up when they're creating. So I always just try and preface my thoughts and statements by like, you know, saying it's like, this is something that I just feel personally, and it's not indicative of my thoughts towards others. It's completely just a personal, it's like a personal perception kind of thing. I think I made him too broad-shouldered. I think I had the right idea going in the original one. I'm also looking at this other drawing, and he's not super broad-shouldered in that. Hold on. I had to stare at my hand. Hold on. Wait a minute. Everybody pause. I need to look at my hands. There we go. I just need to put a curve on it. Give him the oven mitt. You don't think you're old? Look at your hands. real quick before we jump off of my super cool ideas, hashtag copyright trademark. That's because I think I mentioned this before. It's like another reason why I really like the idea of this project is I really want to be able to put a spotlight on some of my ideas that I don't ever talk about too much, or like I don't draw super often, so I can share more stuff. Because I feel like I got some characters that somebody might like out there, and getting them out there would be nice. Anyways, I also wanted to talk about the Sonic news that happened recently, where there was a rumor going around that a Sonic Generations remaster was going to happen, and then people were like, "It's Sonic X Shadow Generations," and everybody was like, "Oh, look, they're boyfriends now! Oh!" And people were like, "Oh, are we getting Shadow levels too now? Oh, sick! That'd be really cool. I hope they revisit Sky Troops." And then it turned out to be something like completely different, and how it's going to be like a Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury kind of situation, where it's like the game's going to get remastered, and then we're just going to get a fun little bonus thing alongside it as well. Which, I don't know, I think it's pretty cool. I was a little worried at first when I first saw it, because when people mention remasters or Sonic games remasters, I think of the rocky launch of Origins and then Sonic Colors Ultimate. And I keep messing this up. I need to just hold on. I gotta fiddling with this hand too much. Hold on, I'll put this back in. There we go. There. Because it's like you mentioned remasters, and I think of those two games, and I'm like, oh, this isn't gonna be good. And then people are like, oh no, they're gonna like. The game wasn't on sale during like a Sonic sale. It's like, uh-oh, that's not good. I hope they don't delist it. And that to me is a true fear. It's like, God, that'd suck. It's like Colors Ultimate, at least when they released that game, it's like you can't delist Sonic Colors. The only way you can play that game now is if you either A, emulate it, or B, you dig out your Wii and a copy of Colors and play it that way. Which is also a bummer. I feel like Colors deserves a second chance. It's like, actually give the remaster to Sonic Colors to somebody who actually knows what they're doing, and don't pressure them into releasing it so soon. Because goddamn, Colors Ultimate was a disaster. So I don't know. Saying that it's like, oh, we're remastering Generations, it's like, oh no, don't repeat history, please. It's like, I don't know. I know your track record. I know you're capable of good things, but you're just as capable of good things as you are bad. And I don't want you to take away one of the better Sonic games y'all have in your track record. So it's like, don't do that. And I was also a little worried because it was like, we don't really know for sure 100% what the Shadow bonus is going to be. We know that there are stages that he's going to play through, and he fights the Bio Lizard, which is very flashy. The visuals for this Shadow bonus are like really flashy, and they look really cool. And Black Doom comes back. Surprise, surprise. You see the Doom Eye in that trailer, which, spawned all the Snap Cube jokes where it's like, hey, what's up? It's me. Which, A+ material. Love that. And also, getting Black Doom back is pretty crazy. And everybody else is like, oh, is Mephiles going to come back? We might actually get Mephiles come back. He might get a comeback in the year of our Lord and Savior, 2024. After being gone for like 18 years? Ugh. So I don't know, it's gonna be nutty. I just hope it turns out okay. It's at least decent. Because a fear I had watching the gameplay was that is the level design looks very reminiscent to the cyberspace stages in Frontiers, which they weren't bad, but the cyberspace stages aren't what I'd want in a stage to stage Sonic game. It's like, please don't make that be his future, please. It's like, I want them to be good, because like the whole thing about the cyberspace stages in Frontiers is that they don't play super well, but the fun I derive from them is being like, oh, I have these blockers placed on me in an obstacle course that I can get through, so I see it as more of a challenge to overcome. Whereas in something like Unleashed or Generations, it's very much like, Sonic's really fun to control, and you're giving me just a fun little playground for me to run around in. I'm going to have lots of fun, running through this and just not really trying to, I don't have to fight against anything in the sense of like, oh, these are like handicaps placed on me. It's like the character is designed in this particular way in order to get through this particular stage, and it's all meant to be fun. Whereas in like Frontiers, it's like, oh, Sonic doesn't really go all that fast unless you use the spin dash, which was a thing that was added after the fact. It's like the boost doesn't actually go that fast, and you're sitting there hammering the button like a crack addict just trying to get that hit of speed. So it's like, I really hope that's not what episode, like the Shadow episode or the Shadow bonus is going to be. And from what I saw of the gameplay in the trailer, it doesn't look like it's going to be that, but I don't know, man. We only got like a teaser, so it's like, I was wondering what all that was. Looks cool though. Yeah, I really hope it does shape up to be like a really fun experience. And I just hope that they keep the original release of the game just up, because you can still play the original release of Generations, because it's had a PC release, which that kind of like seals the deal for it to be like around for a really long time, because PC sort of has that edge as a platform to be like, oh, with some some tweaking here and some updates here, you can like, a game can like have a long lasting shelf life, unlike an Xbox release or a Nintendo release, because good lord, some of those games are like locked to the consoles they released on because of like controller gimmicks and stuff like that, which makes me really sad. So, and also certain original releases have like certain things about them that can't be replicated. Silent Hill 2 is a big one, just to mention a port, because fortunately, Silent Hill 2 got a PC release, and if you have the PC version of the game, you can download like patches and stuff that make it closer to the PS2 release, which is really nice. So at least Silent Hill 2 has that going for it. But the thing with Silent Hill 2 is because it was released on the PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 2 had a way with transparent textures that no other system can like really truly replicate. And Silent Hill 2 is a good example of that with the fog. So when you look at like the re-release of Silent Hill 2 that was in the HD collection, the fog is just a gray wall that you walk against, because they couldn't figure out how to get the fog texture to work properly when you walked through the fog. Because if you play the original Silent Hill 2, you have that wall of gray, but it's masked by these like 2D, like they're like 2D transparent, semi-transparent images of like a fog texture that go past the screen, so it looks like you're walking through a cloud bank. And the HD version just doesn't do that very well, and they try to recreate it in the HD collection, and it just doesn't work out as well. Oops, I just cropped the picture. That scared me. Anyways. Yeah, looking forward to it. I hope it turns out good enough. And I just hope and pray that we don't have another Sonic Colors Ultimate on our hands. Because, yeah. Oh boy. I need to. I'm gonna narrow down bro's shoulders here. Yeah, my head kind of hurts a little bit because I slept at an odd number of hours, and now my head's a little hurting, and I erased the lines that I drew for myself, so I'm a fool. Okay, we need to push his arm in a little bit. Entirely unrelated. I'm still listening, but I've just figured out something I've been trying to design for eons. Hell yeah! We celebrate artistic breakthroughs around here. We are all about that. It's like me trying to figure out clothing designs and finally picking a look that I like. Oh, and I guess another fun Sonic thing that happened recently was Knuckles was in the Super Bowl ad for Paramount Plus. So if you want to see movie Knuckles looking at I forget the guy's name, the guy from Super Troopers. If you want to see Knuckles looking at a tramp stamp on the guy from Super Troopers, you can go watch the Paramount Plus Super Bowl ad. Though on a related note to the Super Bowl ad, it blows my mind that in this day and age, Hey Arnold is still somewhat relevant, despite the fact that his show ended more than 10 years ago. Like, it's crazy to me that Hey Arnold, that good old Arnold, like, still shows up and stuff. Is still showing up and stuff. And singing along to Creed, no less. It's so crazy. The world is it's a freaking farce, I tell you. Alright, I think his hand looks okay here. I am relatively okay with this. Ah. At first I thought you were implying he was the football. Oh, I don't think you've seen the ad yet. Because you wouldn't believe what happens in that. I don't follow sports, but if I'm to assume he's a basketball. No. So the thing with Arnold, Hey Arnold was a Nickelodeon cartoon show, and the thing about Arnold is that he's a kid with a football-shaped head, and he's got the yellow, the blonde yellow hair that sort of like rises off his head with like a little blue cap in the middle of it. And in the Super Bowl ad, they get a football player to throw Arnold like a football, and it's like, wow, that was, I don't know, it was an obvious joke, but it kind of gave me a chuckle. Also, they actually did they did a semi-decent job mixing a 2D animated character with a live action actor. I say actor in quotes because he's a football player. But I want to like give a mad shout out to the artists that they hired to freaking animate Arnold in the hands of a football player. It's really funny. Also, Patrick Stewart is in that advertisement too, and you get to see him wear an old school football helmet, an old school football outfit. It's pretty funny. And also kind of sad because I remember, yeah, because I remember Patrick Stewart was in a story recently. I forget how recent this was, so you know, I used the term recently kind of liberally. No, it was when he was filming The Hobbit. That's right, the more recent Hobbit movies. He got really sad and depressed filming those movies because he acted to nobody. So he got like really sad, and his castmates threw him like a party in order to try to make him feel better. And he's like, if this is what acting has become, then I want no part of it. So it's kind of funny that he's in a Super Bowl ad where he acts to a character that's not real, which probably could have been very well have been a tennis ball. And it kind of hurts a little bit, being like, oh man, this poor guy, this poor guy, he's like one of the greats and he just can't catch a break. It's like, sorry man. I'll have to check that out after stream. Yeah, I always forget when the Super Bowl rolls around and I see those ads, like the Super Bowl ads, and I'm like, wow, this is actually a really crazy put together commercial. Like, why is it so good? And then they're like, oh, it's a Super Bowl ad, and I'm like, oh, okay. Because it's like every February the Super Bowl rolls around and I forget every single time, and then I forget completely until the ads roll around and I'm like, oh hey, the Super Bowl's here. And honestly, that's kind of like the one reason why I even pay attention to the Super Bowl. Is like, I just want to see the commercials, man. Like, I'll watch those dudes from Scrubs doing like Grease tunes with John Travolta and trying to sell me T-Mobile or Verizon or whatever it is. And I still find those ads to be really funny. Like, even the ones that came out after the fact, I still really like the one where they're like, oh, what a beautiful morning. And it's like, they won't raise your rates at T-Mobile. Like, I don't know if that's like them actually singing. It's Zach Braff. That's right. That's one of the guys. It's like Zach Braff? Zach Graff? I forget his name. I don't know if it's them actually singing, but I don't know. Props to them. I think if that's their singing, they're pretty good singers. Like, who knew? Excuse me. Whew. But if anything, it's worth checking out because Knuckles is there. And we all know, I love my boy Knuckles. All right. Okay. I'm going to make... We're slimming him down. Because that's the thing about the thing about Sparks. He's not a... He's not a, like, muscle-bound character. His strength mostly comes from his acrobatics. He's like a Spider-Man in that way. He's like a Spider-Man. Which one is this? Oh, yeah, this is the Forest Temple. Okay, I thought I recognized that opening. It's like... Yeah, and here's the... Yeah, I remember now. I recognize it. They're playing my tune. Oh. I guess in other news, I don't know if you've seen it, but Katsuka on Twitter, I don't know if they posted this on Instagram. I don't even know if they have an Instagram. The Katsuka Twitter page hosted a Pokemon animation that was posted for it was made for the Chinese New Year and was used in China for advertisements for the Chinese New Year because it's the year of the dragon this year. And that's a beautiful animation. It's like a 2-minute long animation about people traveling to go home and visit their families for New Year's. Very beautiful stuff. They uploaded it to their YouTube, to the Katsuka YouTube channel, uploaded it to their own channel. Because it's not going to be shown in the US because it was made for strictly Chinese markets. But it's still really beautiful. Oh yeah, I have seen that. It was incredible. It is! It's so good! I want to like get a hold of it and like study it. Because I love the style they used in it. It's so pretty. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I'm just reveling in it now. So beautiful. Very happy with the mock-up design made for a very important character. Hell yeah. Yeah, but I wanted to just mention that because I'm also a Pokemon fan, if you couldn't tell. I love me some Sonic, but Pokemon was like one of my original loves. Love me some good Pokemons. Give me some good Pogies. I'm gonna redraw this foot. It's like I futzed around with the feet a little bit too much and kind of put the one on his right a bit. It's a bit out of whack. You know, it's nice to actually just be streaming again after having been gone that 1 week. Really like, you know, to sit down and have a chat, have a draw. It's nice. Still isn't right. And speaking of streams, I will be streaming tomorrow. It's nice having someone to draw with. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's all about that parallel play. I will be streaming tomorrow. There's a good chance it'll probably just be art again, because I went and did grinding in Tome again, and it really dragged. And I'm nowhere close to my goal, because I just haven't been able to sit down and like devote like a massive amount of time to it like I used to. Because like the last time I did the grind was for the Let's Play and for the previous stream, but that previous stream I had like a week. I had like a week to grind or something like that, and that was a lot of time, and I wasn't even doing the dupe glitch at that point. But I haven't even hit 2,000 neti yet. And I went and I did some calculations just to see where everything would stack up if I sold some of my items, and it's like it's nowhere even close. And I'm like, I don't know how much longer I can actually stand to sit there and grind that stuff. It's like I just want to play the game, man. So there's I might change it slightly, where I might, and this is kind of up in the air at this point, but I might change it just a little bit, where instead of where I might actually save the grinding for later, and I'll just come back to it. And I might just play through the story up until you get to like the free time day, and then do all the grinding then myself. So that way it's like, oh, I can at least make some more progress in it. Because it irritates me slightly to start a game and then just, not do anything for it, or do anything with it for a while. It's like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. It's just not... Alright, I'm gonna try something here. He has 2 left feet in more ways than one. Honk honk. Okay, yeah, so that's why his foot's a bit smaller. Oh well. Yeah. Insert musical sting that implies that's where you're meant to laugh. Yeah, you gotta have the rim shot in there. The dun. If I were a cool streamer, like literally everybody else, I'd have a soundboard where, I'd play like the rim shot or something like that. And then I'd be cool and everybody would laugh and they think I'm so funny. His foot's not tall enough. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's with the Zelda music on. I should really stream a Zelda game at some point. Because I'm also a big Zelda fan. I love Zelda. It's like, I should really play one of those on stream. Traveler, you're the cool streamer, dude. Oh. I try. I know I'm not. I say I try, but it's like I'm the cool streamer, dude. I'm in that I am Universe Traveler, the cool streamer, dude. I'm like my own brand of cool, which unfortunately isn't like the brand of cool that everybody else likes. I lose my carbonation too quickly and have a funny aftertaste or something like, I don't know. I'm just the humor train is just not in the station today. I'm sorry. Dude, the devil thinks you're cool and that's all you need. Well, yeah. I suppose that's true. Angels what? Jesus who? Nah, Satan's all I need. There we go. Okay. I think I'm okay with his... I think I'm okay with his body now. I'm relatively okay with it. I need to... Okay. I always... This is just a me thing, so don't take this as like a true art tip. I always like to measure character heights by the heels of their feet. Because whenever you're walking around... Hang on, I gotta stretch. Whenever you're walking around and you happen to be standing up straight, you tend to measure your height by like the back of your head down to your heels. So I always measure my character's heights by their heels. I'm like the in-law of angels. Kind of attention seeking, and I make every event about me. Which is like the exact opposite of me. Because I tend to just sort of drift into the background and I eat all the food. I think, okay. I'm agonizing over details that aren't that important, but I'm going to do this anyway. I'm going to take his foot here and I'm going to push it down just like by a pixel. It's a very important pixel, believe me. We can delete this foot layer. We don't need that anymore. Right, I'm just going to fill in this line here. Okay. Okay. I think I'm pretty cool with this. Just real quick though, I'm going to scope out the hand situation here. Hand size. Does it match up? Yeah, it kind of does. I think I will move his... I'm going to put his... move his thumb in just a smidge. There we go. Much better. Yeah, I like that more. Boop. Boop. Okay, next layer. I think his head, I might adjust his head a little bit, maybe. We'll see how things are going to shape out. All right. Okay, let's see here. My eyeballs keep darting back and forth to this one drawing I made. If I were smart, I would have taken a picture of this beforehand and I would have traced some of this. But it's been pretty well established that I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Oh man, I should have scanned some of these too. Man, there's some good ones in here. Man, I scanned. Like, I still have a scanner. Should have taken pictures of them. Anyways, some sort of ex-angel that will announce on your stream that they made an official Mammon sketch just now. Hell yeah. Was that was that the mirror face guy? Or is that somebody else? No. Mirror face guy was Lucifer, right? Right? Or am I thinking of somebody else? Where am I going to put his eyes? Blech. Hang on, we're gonna do a super zoom. Mirrors Lucy. Yeah, Mammon is Greed. Money guy. That's right. That's right. But hey, I remembered that Lucy was the mirror person. I remembered that. I'm so proud of me. Give myself a gold star. There we go. I'll make this easier on myself. Congrats, you get a yellow star. Can't afford gold. Hey, I'll take it. Like most teachers, they can only afford so much. Here we go. Oh. I'm getting the yawns. No. Frig. It's starting to... It's hitting that point in the afternoon. Where it's like... I'm really sleepy. No. Then I'm gonna hit like 8 o'clock tonight, and I'm going to be wide awake. I'm gonna be freaking wired. It's hitting that point 40 minutes past midnight where I'm not tired. Yeah, that's like the golden hour or something like that, where it's like you're wide awake, you get your second wind in, and you don't even feel like remotely close to tired. Oh, you wanna know what? I think that what's throwing me off? Hold on. I'm doing the face when I was doing the body and I was doing the face. I always keep my brush at 30 whenever I sketch the body stuff, so when I'm doing gestures or like whenever I do like body shape stuff, I always keep it at 30 so I can keep it rough, and then I tighten up the size when I get closer to doing detailed stuff. So I think if I just tighten this up, I can actually get some shapes that I want. And I wasn't planning on going super long today. Anyways, because I also started super late. Because I rolled out of bed at like noon local time, so I was like, yeah, that kind of beats the purpose of that. So I just started doing other things today. Then I was like, nah, I feel inspired. I kind of want to work on this stuff on stream a little bit. So here we are. Oh yeah, I guess that is a thing I did. So with Spark's old design, that's right. I traced... Okay, so what I did with Sparks' old design is I used the outline of his eyes and had it go along the edge of his cheek fuzz, and I drew it on like that, though I think I ended up changing that as of late. So what I do is I draw his eyes in, and instead of doing like this, I draw his eyes in and then I add everything afterwards, so it kind of changes how the shapes look. Change this to a 15. Yeah, I think the other thing I do is I do this as well. Or I don't actually do this. Dun, 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 dun. Which one is this? Oh, it's Newark Town. I thought I recognized it. I've actually eaten today, which is uncommon for me. 2 days in a row. Pizza, then leftover pizza. The food of champions. Serves as dinner and breakfast. Cold and hot. Oh, interesting. Yeah, not often I actually remember the process of my past work, but this time I did. Yeah, because I have trouble remembering what I do from time to time. How long have we been going? I've been going for about 2 hours. Okay, that's decent. Decent. Because another thing I need to relearn how to do is I need to relearn how I drew Sparks' face proportions. Because in all of these in my notebook, I kind of just freehand it. I only do what I do, like what I did here. And I just gave him the center line for his face, so I knew where everything sat. And then I just threw everything else in. So I need to relearn where I position everything on his face. Because I just sort of wing it. I just wing it now. I don't think about it. I really should be thinking about it. It's kind of important. Traveler, I've just had an idea that I need your opinion on, if you don't mind. Lay it on me. Tell me about it. What you got? Oh, and his eyes also curve down like this, too. Let's do a little bit of this. I think this might be something I just save for off stream, because I'm going to be doing a lot of hemming and hawing on this. Less I. Really. Yeah, that's kind of the shape I was going for. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that seems about right. I think his eyes are supposed to be smaller, though. I think that's another thing that's throwing me off. Well, I've been envisioning sloth, sin, not the animal, alright, as tortoise until now. And I was just thinking if maybe she was instead more bug-like, like a bedbug pun. Okay. So are you trying to think like a name for them or something along those lines? So sleepy. Yeah, I think I might have to call it. Since frick, I can't keep my eyes open. Might have to take a nap at like 5 in the afternoon. Because I mean, if you're thinking of like a bed, when I think of a bed bug pun, excuse me. I keep wanting to try and work the word mattress into it. I don't know why. It's like there's things like mattresses and comforters, pillowcases. Well, her name, identical to her origin, is Belphegor or Bell. I was wondering if I should switch gears on the design or not. Okay. Well, I don't really think. Let's see. Oh yeah, well her name identical to her origin is Belphegor Bell. Right. I was wondering if I should switch gears in the design or not. Okay. My brain has processed it. I now understand the question you were asking. Yeah, personally, I think depending on how many bugs you want within your cast, personally, I would go bedbug because I know that while turtles are slow, I don't really see them as being really lazy. Especially when I think of turtles on like a grander scale. Like, I think of turtles like that live in the water and all that stuff. They can get moving pretty fast if when you get them swimming. Some of them anyway. And some of them are really cute. But I think a bedbug is as something that's already associated with like beds, I think kind of fits it a bit better, and it also kind of has that I'm losing it. I'm losing the grip. Where's that thread? The thought. Come back, baby, come back. Where it's like it's already associated with beds, and beds are kind of like universally known for kind of being like kind of a lazy thing, where it's like you want to be in it all day and all that. So making them a bed bug kind of makes sense, you know? And also just for the fact that it's like making them a bed bug also being like, oh, there's a thing with the bed, which is also associated with laziness, but it's also like a double, like a flip, because while beds are really nice, she is a bed bug, which is a thing that you find in beds that make beds dangerous, you know? Yeah, I say in quotes, because it's not like you get into a bed with bed bugs and they like strip you clean like the Beatles in The Mummy, but it kind of makes beds unsafe, right? So I feel like there's a bit you can have more ties to the theme of like laziness through that versus a turtle. God, I don't know what it is. I think I actually do like have winter or fall allergies or something. Maybe I'm breathing in mold or something. I swear it's always like this time of year. I get like some form of congestion. And it sucks. Or maybe it's just really dry. I don't know. Which it really hasn't been. I mean, everything, all the ice around here has been melting because it's been warming up. I don't know, maybe it's because there's just no more ice to melt, so the air doesn't have any moisture in it. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's kind of where my thought process is. Because whenever I think of a turtle, I don't really think lazy. I think more earnest, hardworking, you know, kind of like that. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Charlie. That's what you received. Bedbug it is. Yeah. Yeah, and plus bedbugs just have a tendency to be looked at as being very gross, you know, being kind of gross, disgusting little creatures, vermin, as they are sometimes known. So I think that's the way to go. And the only other thing is that that would be a concern of mine if it were me, would be worrying if I'd have too many insects, making it redundant. But I mean, if it's like, if bugs are like already established to be like a thing, then it's like a parabola where it's like you have two or three of a thing and it stands out, and then you have like that sweet spot in the middle where it's like, oh, you established that like insectoids are like a species or a thing, and so it's like, oh, it's very common to see more than one. Or is it like, is it not like a parabola? Maybe it's just a range. Either way, it's kind of like having two of one thing and being like, well, it's kind of awkward to have a pair there because it feels like there should be more of them. And then the other side where it's like, there should be something there, but there isn't. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. But, you know, that's just me. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna let my tunes run out for a little bit. Just gonna let them run out, and then we'll probably call it. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna keep working. I'll keep working on my stuff. I think what I'll also do is, because obviously I'm not gonna save this for stream stuff. I'm gonna work on this off stream like I usually do. I am going to finally take pictures of this drawing, because now I actually have a reason to snap pics of my drawings aside from just posting them. I need to actually take a picture of this, that way I can do a trace over. So that way I can come to grips with what I like about my previous drawings. Oh, what am I doing? I'm on the wrong layer. Oh, the Comet Observatory. I love this song. Yeah, that's another game I should play on stream. It's freaking Mario Galaxy. Man, there's so many games I could play. I need to, like, stream what I want to stream on the consoles I have out now, so I can swap out some consoles and get a new range of games and under my belt when it comes to streaming them. So far, the bug sins are Beelzebub and Belphegor. The B to E's. Okay. Yeah, so there's like two of them. Okay. Yeah, because Beelzebub's like the fly, and he's kind of like, he's like Thumper from Bug's Life. He's like, and I assume Belphegor has some intelligence, right? So, yeah. Because then for me, I would put in like I'd sprinkle in like a bug species that's like that like serves under them, so that way it's like okay, so that way I don't know, because it also just depends on the pantheon and all that stuff, and just how the world works. Because to me, it's like, oh, if they're like ascended or something like that, then it's like, oh, it makes sense there are bugs running around, and then it's like they praise the ascended one, as it were. And then maybe one's like, I wanted godlike powers too, but I turned into a dog instead. Or something like that. That's just me. I put his eyebrows are going to be too close together. Rawr. Rawr. This can be layer 6. So we're going to go in here and we're going to make the center line semi-transparent. So many cool games, so little time. Ugh, tell me about it. It's like new games I want to play, games that I want to revisit at some point. Although not too many revisits. Because I think, now that because, thinking about it, there's only like 3 that I could think of that I'd be like gung-ho to revisit. It's Pokemon of some kind, Dead Space, for Dead Space 1, Dead Space 1, Pokemon, and there's another one. Because it wasn't Night in the Woods, because Night in the Woods I'm willing to put off, because I'm willing to wait a little longer for Night in the Woods to kind of settle in my brain. But Dead Space and Pokemon are up there, and I guess Tome too. But that one, I already started it, so I don't really count it. I imagine that human sinners do get attributes from the sins they committed, though a lot less extreme. Natural born demons would be a lot more like their false gods. Okay. God, that. Oh man, yeah. You say that, and that to me, that gets my mind going. And it's like, oh man, that would lead to like so many fun designs where it's like you get humans with like antennae and like maybe some bug eyes in there, some wings maybe, some exoskeletons. But then you'd have like that mixed in with like actual like bug people maybe, or like I don't know, and like you said Leviathan's like part of it. It was like an eel person. Maybe there's like fish people. I don't know. That gets the wheels turning in my brain. And man. I can't help it. It's a fun idea. Alright, my music is out. The music is done. Cut the beat. I need to breathe. So many cool OC ideas. Oh, yeah. So many cool OCs, so little time. There we go. And see, that doesn't seem right, because I think his eyes are hovering a bit too far up. Anyways, I'll agonize over this off stream. I'm going to take some pictures. I'm also going to stand up a little bit. Maybe lie down. Maybe get some like sugar in my system or something. I don't know. I'm tired. So sleepy. Why do weekends only have to be... Why do they get to be 2 days long and we have to work for 5? It's bullshit. Ugh. Fuh. Well, the funny thing is I got... I think I slept for like 7 hours, which is pretty decent. But because it's that awkward odd number, you wake up in like the middle of deep sleep and you your brain just goes, "What the fuck, man?" And you're just in a fog the entire time. It Yeah, it really truly sucks. Anyways, I'll probably just like fall asleep here, just face down on my tablet. So, anyways, let's see. Um, what am I doing? I'm going crazy, going stupid. Uh, that's the brightness settings. Uh, um, huh. I thought friend of the show, friend of the pod. Uh, uh, thought Barry was gonna be no, was gonna be streaming today. Don't think she is. Huh. Well, that's a bummer. Oh well. Yeah. Anyway, we'll just end the stream. It'll be okay, and hopefully I can actually turn OBS off without it fucking saying it crashed. Because lately, every time I close OBS now, it keeps saying that it closed unsafely, which I don't know what that's all about. I really hope it's not falling apart on me. That would suck. I'm just being here and lore dumping. Yeah, it's been super fun. I love these streams. Or I can just talk about my little blorbs, my precious meow meows, my sweet blorbos, and all that good stuff. It's always a fun time. So, um, anyways, yeah, been real. Tomorrow's stream, um, might be games. It might be Tome, maybe. I don't know if it'll be the Grindy Grinderson or I'll just play the game as normal. Um, we'll see how I feel, or it just might be more art. Who knows? But I'm leaning more towards game stuff because I kind of want to get the game moving forward. So, and hopefully I'll be starting earlier than today. Um, hopefully we'll be able to get that moving. So, yeah, that'll be it for me. I'm gonna drink the rest of my this and then I don't know, maybe lie down, watch some YouTube or something like that. Maybe play a video game. Who knows? Maybe grind some more. Yeah. And oh yeah, maybe work on this. Man, I got a lot to do. Yeah. Anyways, it's been real. Appreciate having you here. Hopefully you have a great rest of your evening or the rest of your night. And hopefully I'll see you somewhere in the multiverse. I'll hopefully take care, and I'll see you at least live tomorrow. If you're in Vodland, I'll see you around. So yeah. Take care and have a good one. Bye bye.